It's Jarius the Aquarius with my Relatable Revival. Hello and welcome, my fellow star sisters and brothers. Let's chat Chiron in the fourth house or Chiron in Cancer. So Chiron is basically that wound, that scar, whether it's physical, but it's mostly emotional and then psychological wounds that kind of carry with you from your early upbringing, that once you can transmute it, once you can face it, basically integrate it, whatever term you want to use, right? Once you can heal it, you'll realize that's one of your greatest powers, one of your greatest gifts here. So today we're going to be talking about Chiron in Cancer and Chiron in the fourth house. So this is indicative of mommy issues. So it's going to be very a prevalent theme for you in your life is going to be balancing and mending this wound. You could deal with, or you could have dealt with DCFS, foster care. You could have been adopted. You could have dealt with group homes, things like that. You could have felt like you're the black sheep of the family. You could be the black sheep of the family. It felt like you were abandoned by your family. So let's say even you were raised in a two-parent household. Maybe mom and dad worked all the time. Maybe mom and dad had their own vices that they were into, or their minds were elsewhere, but you just felt like you didn't get that love and attention and affection that you wanted and you desired as a kid. So as you grow up, you can find yourself looking for love in all the wrong places, and that in itself can create so many problems, just based off of this wound that you got to heal from your childhood. So this could mean that you just have a bad relationship with your feminine side. So let's say you have a good relationship with your mom with this placement, or a decent relationship with your family. Maybe you just have, maybe in this lifetime, it's just you need to practice how to be a little bit more nurturing, being a little bit, exercise that motherly, caring about somebody else, putting someone else forward, tending to their needs, supporting somebody, maybe that's something you are here to learn, either or. And always remember that astrology is fluid. We are speaking about energy. So, if it's not happening to you, it could be happening around you. Not all of it's going to resonate. And honestly, thank God, right? And I like to put in a lot of good and bad, because it's not all bad, but Chiron is one of their rougher points. But again, once you heal that and you get through that and you face this issue, and a lot of us, we're not even aware, we don't even know what the issue is, we can't even put into words. So hopefully this helps with that. I don't want astrology to keep us in a box, because it kind of was pushed upon us with this time matrix, you know what I mean? But I'm all into astrology. So okay, that was my disclaimer, but continuing. So you can find yourself looking for love in all the wrong places. You deserve the same love as you give. So remember this, as a Chiron in Cancer and Cancer in the fourth house, you can find yourself people pleasing. You want to give your all. You want people to see that you're a genuine good person, because maybe you didn't come from genuine good people, and then you can find yourself being just depleted, because you're constantly giving and it's not being reciprocated. So never forget that you deserve the same love you give. So if someone's not reciprocating that, that's enough confirmation for you to, does that person need to be in your life, really, but so once you're on the flip side of this Chiron wound, let's say you faced it, you healed it, you're transmuting it, you can find yourself healing others, or just wanting to heal others, or let's say you're not even on the flip side, you can find yourself, because you know how it feels to be so emotionally vulnerable and to feel abandoned and to feel like no one wants me, you can find yourself attracting similar people like that you want to heal, you know what I'm saying? And that in itself can be good, or it could go bad, Us empaths get it. So with this placement, you're more likely an empath, like for real. And it's probably based on, because of what you didn't get. So you want to, in some way, you become that. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. But, so you could have always felt emotionally vulnerable. You could just feel always emotionally vulnerable until you heal this wound. You just didn't feel like you had enough love and support from your family. Just in general, even if it wasn't from like your immediate family, it could be from like, the family that you try to create, and that goes in with that DCFS and stuff like that. People with this Chiron in Cancer and Chiron in the 4th house, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have issues with motherhood. But if you do want to have a kid, let's say you do have kids, it could be a little bit more tricky on the tricky side for you, because of what the matrix has mapped out for you, basically. And that's why I always want to throw in there ways you can transmute, ways you can heal this, because we don't want astrology to keep us in a box, right? Because we are sovereign, divine creator beings, and we really can manifest the life that we want. Even though I have not got there, I strongly believe that that's possible. Okay? So you can also feel, or like there could be some kind of blockage with your ancestors. Let's say that you're into this spirituality stuff, or you're more on the spiritual path. You could feel like, I just feel like my ancestors are not hearing me, or anything like that. That could be a trait of this placement. So you could sabotage relationships, or you could just draw in sabotageable relationships that are kind of, an impending doom, kind of by pulling back from fear of being abandoned. So like, let's say you actually attract and you meet somebody who's actually good for you. You can kind of like sabotage that because you are afraid to be abandoned, or you're scared to be rejected, or you're scared to just get too close and for somebody to not be there, forever, or, turn out to be somebody that they're not, because you witnessed this firsthand with your own family. So again, you came from a dysfunctional family. So your early life or your upbringing could have been dysfunctional. Let's say your family's not dysfunctional anymore, but the early life or upbringing, there was some kind of dysfunction going on. So you have a deep ancestral wound you must heal. The 4th house, Cancer, dealing with ancestors, there's a deep ancestral wound, which I'm going to go and correlate with the mother wound. You must heal. And then I'm going to go in and add in womb chakra healing, tapping into your womb center. If I made a womb chakra video, but there's so much more like techniques and meditations and things like that out there. But basically, to get to a good place of peace, in some way, you're going to have to heal this mother wound that you have. Okay? So, deep ancestral wound you must heal. Karma around being a mother, with the mother figure that needs to be transmuted. So there could be karma between you and your mother. Okay? Or there could be karma with you becoming a mother. What I'm saying? This is a tricky placement to have if you do have children. It's not automatically meaning like if you have this placement, something bad's going to happen with your kids, or that you're a bad mother or anything like that. You could just, again, you have that mother wound, so it's an obstacle. It's trial and error. It's something that you're learning and growing, you're healing through. So you could have dealt with a smothering mother, or you could kind of be smothering. Okay? You could have dealt with abortions, high-risk pregnancies, miscarriages, or you could have even been like a high-risk pregnancy and miscarriage. Maybe your mom or dad, they didn't feel like they were in the right place and they maybe wanted abortion. You know what I'm saying? It's fluid. It could go either way. So you could be very connected to nature, animals, and young children. And you can also be really good with them. And especially after you heal this wound, you'll just notice that like small animals, small children, animals in general, and you can find yourself called to nature once you get back to your roots, because this is all about healing that wound around your roots, who you are. You could even, again, let's say you're adopted into a family that's completely different from your culture. There you go. You're like, now you gotta find, who I am. And no, that's not the end all be all of being a human being, of who your 3D kin is and like your bloodline and things like that. But it does matter to really get to know who you are. That matters to people, to know who you are, who you're from, So you can feel that motherhood isn't for you, or it comes with many trials and tribulations. So your inner mother, your inner child, your inner family is going to be key to maneuvering through this placement, okay? How do you nurture? How do you tend and feed to yourself from the inside out? How do you speak to yourself? Your inner critic. How is your inner critic to yourself, right? So, and that's going to be important and key. Again, like I can say, like womb chakra healing, the womb center healing techniques are out there. A lot of fluctuating emotions. You could have been diagnosed with like a clinical mood disorder. And there's not a lot of inner peace going on. You got a lot of, Cancer, again, that's just a lot of emotions going on. Like you're up and down, and then you got Chiron, you got some trauma around that. So you could have been clinically diagnosed with the mood disorder. Okay? They will do so basically you will do anything for love or for someone that you love. Even if this means sacrificing yourself, becoming someone that you're not, and you'll basically do whatever it takes to impress them and to keep them. So basically in the process of this, you can deceive yourself and other people, and you're mostly, you hurt other people, but you'll notice that, because usually you're coming from a genuine place, you want to people please and stuff, you'll realize that like you got yourself, really, So again, abandonment from the motherly energy, so not really feeling like you were nurtured, seen, heard. You didn't get the tender loving care, the things that a typical, in the Earth society, a typical mother would do, right? So you could be prone to isolation, isolating yourself. You don't want to be around people, things like that. You can even dibble dabble with addictions, different addictions, to kind of heal, quote unquote, mend the wound, kind of put a band-aid over this wound, right? But you haven't put any like, healing cream or anything like that. So it's still there. So these people can find themselves, being alcoholics, whether it be just smoking cannabis every single day, and just, not even that smoking cannabis every day is like necessarily bad, but you can find yourself, just overindulging in things to kind of make yourself feel that warmth that you didn't get, right? So these people are going to be hopeless romantics, in the literal sense with other people and things like that, but also just with life in general. Again, like once they can heal this wound, they'll find that, they were looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for it on the outside of them, like love was far away from them, like love had to be reached, it was a journey to get there, when really, if they were a little bit more mindful, they would realize there's beauty and love all around you in life, even if that's just going outside and putting your feet on the ground, it grounds you, and you're like, okay, like, my life has some shitty parts in it, but, being a human being is like, it's a different cool experience, That's just an example. I suck at giving examples, probably. So a lot of early childhood pain here. You could feel like you're unworthy of love, feeling unlovable, and having a low self-esteem could be very prevalent for you. You must learn to mother yourself before others. And that's key here to healing your wound. Chiron in the fourth house, Chiron in Cancer. It's key to mother yourself before you can do it to others. So for my mamas that have this placement, take that time to pour into yourself, so you're not feeling that much mom guilt, or feeling some kind of guilt or shame for not giving what you feel like you should be giving your kid. I hope that makes sense. So it's important to reconnect with your inner family. Heal by transmuting these emotions. Maybe leaving what's familiar to you will push you forward to where you need. So let's say you're still around your dysfunctional family. You're still around your family. You may find that the second you get away from them, a lot of stress, a lot of just fatigue, a lot of weight could be lifted off your shoulders, and specifically if it's your mom, or just a parental figure. So there could be wounds around your cultural roots, like I said. So this can lead to people having identity issues. And then that also plays in with you trying to, be whoever, and do whatever you got to do to just get someone's approval just so they won't leave you. These people could be prone to being clingy, and it could just be, it could just be overwhelming for somebody who isn't, who did have a decent upbringing, things like that. So physical and emotional absence of the parental figures. So, let's say, again, you didn't have a mom at all and dad was the mom and dad. So there you go. It could just be, overall, just mean parental figures, okay? So once you have healed this wound, you will be a better mother, have a better relationship or perspective of your mom. You will be able to heal others through this motherly energy. You will be able to find love all around you in the big and small things in life. And then, once you transmute this and you don't have that trauma stuck in your body, that energy in your body, you're no longer vibrating where you were, then, maybe you'll attract and actually find someone who is the right person for you, the quote-unquote right person for you, your quote-unquote soulmate. You know what I mean? So this was my take on the Chiron in Cancer and the Chiron in the 4th house. I don't have this placement, but if you do, please leave a like or a comment if any of this resonates. I think I'm going to continue this Chiron series because I'm not going to lie. I've been watching some videos and stuff about astrology, and I can definitely see the concept of it keeping us within this time matrix and how they've kind of mapped out our lives for us. And we feel like, this is it for me, right? But it's always important for us to remember that we are divine, sovereign, creator beings. And once we can dodge the hijacks, once we can get over the hijacks, we will be able to manifest and create and become exactly who we want to be. Okay? So I love you guys. Omni love, sending absolute healing and love your way. I just want to thank you guys so much for the support, and let's have a good 2025, hopefully, right?